evening everyone, and welcome back to RTG TV for the first round of the Wednesday tier here in Japan. So back for the first time in a long time on a Wednesday. Obviously we have Burnt Rubber Racing on the channel. They have folded and we've gone back to the Wednesday tier in RTG. We're here at Japan at the Suzuka circuit. There's 5.807 kilometers and 3.61 miles. It's got 18 corners around this track, one DRS zone, and in terms of the tyres, obviously the standard three sets: C3 soft, C2 medium and C1 hard tyre. We should see drivers starting on the C2 or C1 preferably than the soft tyre. To have a quick look at the calendar for this season: Japan obviously to start us off on the 12th of June, and then Abu Dhabi next week on the 19th, and then on the 26th of June we have the Singapore Grand Prix, and as you can see, on and on and on until the 14th of August when we finish the season on round 10 in Qatar. The driver lineup for the Wednesday tier, which is a cross-play tier, as you can see there on your screen. I'm just going to try and get it up myself, just bear with me a sec. There we go. So we've got a few new faces. This is a cross-play tier for the first time in RTG history, and we're about to get underway for the opening of this season. There you go, there's your drivers' standings. Let's get that off the screen. Bear with me a sec, just make sure everything's tip-top in Bristol fashion. So here we go for the first round of the Wednesday tier. This mixed tier is staying away from GP1 and GP2's tier system, and it's being its own thing. As I said, we've got the full 20 for this evening, so hopefully you'll be in for a treat this evening at Suzuka. Let's get those clear. Sorry, just talking to myself. So of course the normal 18-minute qualifying session that we usually have in this tier, in the tier previous it used to be full-time, but now we were like Monday in that equivalent. So yeah, looking forward to this one. Just keep an eye out here for your reserve drivers for this evening. As you can see on your screen, it's Short Marcus, Cavalis, Itzy, Dario and Paul Jones Jr. are the reserves for this evening. Everyone else on the track are full-time drivers. So welcome everyone who is just joining us. The stream's working okay. Just trying to see if the stream's working okay. Bear with me a sec. We seem like we're alright, don't we? I think we're good. Hopefully the quality's a bit better from next week as well. As you can see at the top of the channel as well, we've got a Twitch as well, which will be streaming on there. It won't have the graphics like it does on YouTube, but it's just to get a bit of a further reach into the game. Bear with me 1 second. So we've got drivers out on their laps at the moment. You can see Tiny on his lap. His series coming up on my phone. Bear with me. Tiny's now coming up towards Spoon Curve here at the end of the back straight, going on to the other back straight towards 130R. He's setting personal best sectors. In 8th place, is Josh McGill. He's going fastest at the moment as Matthew goes on to provisional pole with a 128.7. We've got the timing graphic back this season, thankfully. So as you can see there, we've got a car round. It is Matthew who's spun out on his in-lap there. And sorry if I'm just being quiet for a second, I'm just making sure to get all of my names down properly. I'll ask them to all put their online IDs on for next week. Hopefully they will do it for me. Just bear me a sec. I'm just in and out trying to do these as quickly as I can. So we're just seeing Mads Nathan going through the hairpin at turn 11 and then around turn 12 on the way to the hairpin of Spoon Curve, the double left-hander of turns 13 and 14. I'm a little quiet, okay. Maybe if I just do that, does that help? I can't make myself any louder, unfortunately, but I can make the stream a bit quieter, so hopefully that helps a little bit. Or worst comes to the worst, bear with me. Or worst comes to the worst, we're going to have to go back to the old-fashioned way of doing things. And there we go. I think that should be a little bit better for you guys to hear me. I did try and do it another way, but I think this is the only way we're going to be able to do it. Out of curiosity, anyone watching who was here yesterday, Monday, not yesterday, does the stream look better than it did then? I hope it does. We've almost got all the names down now, so sorry about that. Paul Jones. Marky. So just to keep you in check, sorry if I didn't put myself on mute there, of course I did. That's the previous pole time. And just to remind you guys, you're watching round 1 of the Wednesday tier here on RTG TV. Keep subscribing to the channel. We had, I think, 5 or 6 subscribers from Monday, so keep it up, keep pressing the subscribe button. I'll be honest, we're putting in a lot more work, especially with the streams and getting them to a better quality than we have. I've literally spent hours trying to get it to as better quality as I can, and I think we're just about there now. So it's been really good to see, and just keep hitting that subscribe button, especially drivers who are new this season. And as we have, it's one of the reserves this evening going fastest overall in that now silver and black Mercedes for this season. Make sure to get your comments in as well, guys. Remember, I've got the comments up as well, so hopefully, as I said, we'll have a really good stream in store for you. And it's on provisional pole at the moment with just over 6.5 minutes to go in the session. But yeah, the stream looking a lot better than it did on Monday, so apologies for the poor quality streams up to now, but I think I've got it sorted. It just means the stream is slightly delayed now. I'll be honest, it's around 30 to 40 seconds delayed than it is in real time, so I've got the stream up as well, but that's just to help with the quality. But anyway, it doesn't really matter all that much. Paul Jones on a lap at the moment, going a personal best 31.7 in that first sector, rising up the hill towards 130R, peaking the crest of the hill and plateauing, going over the other part of the circuit in sector 2 as we go through the sector 3 and in to the Casio Triangle. As he runs over the bollard there, as his teammate Danny is out of the session and is out on the exit of the second Degner as Paul Jones comes into the pits. We're into those 127s, as I mentioned, 127.698. There it is for the times. Just a quick look again, and then just to have a quick look on the old track map and looking on straight lines and fast corners. Obviously that fast flowing sector in sector 1 through the S's at the Dunlop curve. Might be losing some resolution there for a second. We'll get it straight back. It might just be a bit of jittering on the odd occasion, but there's your track, and there's the slow speed corners like turn 11, of course, and the chicane, the 2 heaviest braking zones on the lap. Oh, as you can see there, Dario almost losing the car. Cavalis, one of the other reserves this evening, has yet to set a time in that Haas car coming around the hairpin. As you can see as well, the Haas colour actually changed this season on the track map. It's red rather than white for some reason. Not sure why they've decided that. The 40 Haas coming into Spoon Curve here will be setting personal best sectors, as they haven't set a lap yet in this session. Get your comments in, guys. Who do you think is going to win the first round of the Wednesday tier? We haven't been live on a Wednesday evening in RTG. We have been on RTG TV, but not in the RTG League since I think season 12 we were last in a Wednesday tier, and it's nice to have it back in a mixed tier with cross-play as well. We only have one driver who's not on PlayStation this evening. We got a PC driver of Rotem, who is a new time driver for RTG, and I believe it's his first race ever as Cavalis does a 131.244 with just under 3 minutes to go. We're getting in to this serious part of qualifying, going up and over the Dunlop Hill in the Alpine of Wizard of Oz, coming into the first of the two Degners, and now the second. He certainly took that Wizard, didn't he, as he now goes under the figure of 8 circuit over where the 130R curve is. And now just coming up into Spoon Curve, as Wizards is setting personal best sectors at the moment. Let's see what sector time he does in the second sector. It's a 32.5 for him in the first sector as he comes up on a Mercedes going slowly ahead. Possibly Super Striker ahead of him, or is it Itsu on provisional pole at the moment? Coming into the Casio Triangle, the final couple of corners on this track. And around the final corner, watch for the bump, go over the line. 12th fastest, a 29.0, right, a 27.9 for the top guys. A lot of outlaps now with Perm Bowden going slowly, letting traffic go past. Also Williams going past. His Mad Nathan is out of the session and retired, I believe, in the pit lane. He believes he can't go any faster. Our new resident head steward in RTG, RSI Markey, now coming up to 130R, not the beast it used to be, as he comes up to the Casio Triangle. The final corner, he's up on his time. Is he going to be on pole? He's on provisional pole for the time being, a 127.9 again. And this track not looking as quick as it was on F1 23, as a 27.698 was pole position last time we were here, and that was in GP2. It was a full qualifying session as well, so bear that in mind. We've got a Red Bull of Lee just starting his final approaches. Josh McGill does the same as well, and he's starting his last lap with only 40 seconds left on the clock. So are we going to get anywhere close to that 127.6? We're pretty close at the moment. We're on board with Josh McGill, but Chuckle will go to him down in 11th. A purple sector 1 for him now, and will carry on with his lap for the foreseeable. Again, moving. He's changed teams today. He's Alpine on a Monday in GP1, and he's taken the Williams Grove outfit with his brother again being his teammate in the Wednesday tier, so deciding to be teammates in 2 different tiers, coming out of the Spoon Curve, up and up the hill towards 130R as we plateau and over the bridge of sector 2. And it's a personal best sector as you see Rothman, who did a fastest final sector. Chuckle coming to the line now as Matthew goes on to provisional pole, 27.8. It's close to the 27.6 we've got on our screens, and Chuckle is going to be starting 5th at best. Who's next up over the line? It's a Red Bull, and it's Lee down in the bottom half of the field. Josh McGill took 2nd place on Monday. He's going to be starting 6th on Wednesday, and we've got the next car. It's Chuck. Can he go even faster? No, he goes into the pits. And we've got Paul Jones Jr. in the Kick Sauber coming across the line. He's going to be starting 6th fastest. I don't believe RSI Mikey is going to be able to go any faster. And I don't think we've got anyone else on laps. We have one more Super Striker. Where's it going to put him? He's going to be starting 8th in the race. I believe that's the end of qualifying, and Matthew takes the first pole in the Wednesday tier with RSI Markey lining up on the front row with him. It's a Ferrari Red Bull front row with a Mercedes behind, and then Williams 4th and 5th. We'll be back for the standings in a minute. So that is the grid for today's race. Matthew on pole, RSI Mikey in second, it's third, fourth Chuck, Chuckle fifth, sixth Paul Jones, Josh McGill seventh, eighth is Super Striker, ninth Rotten, 10th is Lee, Nathan 11th, 12th Ginge, Tiny 13th, Wizard 14th, 15th Danny, Royal Rumble 16th, 17th is Dario. Lucky I've still got it up on my screen. Aki 18th, 19th per Bowden, and Cavalos is starting 20th and last. So as you can see, rain pouring over the circuit. Does that mean it's going to be intermediate conditions for the start? I won't put the Be Right Back screen on again because it's being a little funny. I'll just go on mute for a second just to have a little refreshment before the formation. So as you can see, the formation lap underway. Intermediates to start us in this race, I believe, for everyone. The weather not looking bad. The track actually not looking that bad in terms of the conditions. There's rain falling. It's not settling all that much over the circuit. So maybe a mixed conditions race for today. Just again, you're watching RTG TV's Wednesday tier, their first round of this season 16. We have an RTG, not technically their 16th season, but we're in the 16th season of RTG. It'd be a big help if you could subscribe to the channel, like the video as well, and get involved in the comments with me to give me some company until tomorrow night when I have Lee to join us as well. So yeah, thanks very much for everyone's support so far this season, and as you can see, our official RTG TV for our new Twitch account as well, starting next week. And make sure to follow all the other socials like the Instagram at the top of the page, and join the Discord at the top of the YouTube channel as well, to get into the league. Racing Mondays, Wednesdays and Thursdays, 8 PM UK time. PlayStation only Mondays and Thursdays, and the GP1 and GP2 tier system, and then the crossplay free-for-all that we have on a Wednesday. Formation lap almost complete, marketing complete, and we're ready to get underway for the very first start of the Wednesday tier TWT, as we wait for cars to get in formation on the grid. And Rotten has got himself disqualified, as well as Danny and Aki. They're getting pushed back in the box. We're about to get ready for the start of the Wednesday tier. Matthew is on pole, RSI Markey alongside. We have 5 red lights, and we're away for the start of the Wednesday tier in season 16, and RSI Marquee got an absolutely fantastic launch and is up into the lead already as we go around turn 1 and now up towards the Dunlop curves as we go through the left and then right and then left again as we crest over the hill and then back down. As the elevation change at this circuit can be quite dramatic in places, as RSI Marquee still leads up the hill into Dunlop. Now on the scene, we will see the Degner corners as Chuck is up into 3rd place as well, and Itsu's moved down into 4th as Josh McGill had a thought about going to the inside there at the 2nd Degner, coming up to the hairpin at turn 11. We're going to see any moves here. Looks like Dario, someone has made up a place here as Ginger's Pembone, right at the very back, and Ginger's lost out on 3 places as there's a car on the grass there. RTG Lee trying to get himself back onto the racetrack without getting involved in hitting other cars. As he's still not ghosting. I'm not sure actually if we have ghosting on or off in the Wednesday tier. I assumed not, as per usual the rules. So almost completed 3.6 miles of this circuit already as RSI Marquee, but he's got Matthew climbing all over the back of him at the Casio Triangle, and now out of the final corner of turn 18 and on to the start finish, and lap 1 finished, 26 more to go as we go down into turn 1. Josh McGill up 4 places at the start already, and he is now climbing all over the back of Matthew after he's climbing all over the back of RSI Marquee. Tiny up 5 places already. We've got a yellow flag in the first sector as we slide through and weave, and pretty much are sliding in these conditions, but the track conditions not too bad. I wonder if anyone is going to take the gamble for the dry tyres. I think Lee had to put a new set on and a new front wing as well as he was off onto the grass at Spoon Curved, out of the 2nd Degner and up the hill towards the turn 11 hairpin. Is Matthew going to go for a lunge here? No. He decides to get the switch back on the inside though, and they make contact, and I think Matthew might have got some damage from that as well. It seemed like carbon fibre was flying off the front end, and Matthew now going on the offensive and trying to go up the inside at Spoon Curve. He's trying it here, but no, he has to back out of it. They made slight contact there, but Markey hold tight and held his position as we now rise up the hill towards 130R, looking further back on this 2nd lap, and DRS would be enabled, but not in these conditions. That might become a sign though of when to go to the dries, when DRS is enabled, if it ever will be. As we go further on down the pack, there's actually battles happening at the front. We move away from it for the first time, and RSI Marquee and Matthew squabbling for position here out of the final corner, and it's going to be 3 wide down the start finish race as we go on to lap 3 with Matthew on the outside, Markey in the middle, and then Josh McGill backs out of it. He did have that inside line though, and Matthew has lost the place to Josh McGill as well now, and the 2 Williams have got on the scene as well. It's Chuckle Vision time for the Williams drivers, and through the right, left and right again up the hill at the top of the Dunlop. So we go down into the compression and back up the hill at Dunlop again through turn 7 and on the way to turn 8, better known as Degner 1. Are we going to see Josh McGill try it around the outside here? We certainly are. He's gone through into the lead. We don't see anyone really try it on the outside of the Degners. We have a car retired in the pits. It's Lee. He's already out. We've got 1 Red Bull out. We're down to 19 of the 20 that started, and Josh McGill has taken the lead of the race with a spectacular overtake on the outside at the first of the 2 Degner corners. We've got yellow flags flying. It's another little glitch here where the yellow flag just jolters on the screen. So apologies, don't look at it. That kind of thing doesn't come to you, it shouldn't. And let's It's really wide as well. Nathan and Danny here going down the back straight towards 130R. They're neck and neck. Who's going to back out of it at 130R? Neither of them do. And Nathan actually runs off the road by taking too much curb on the inside, and now has Ginge in the Aston Martin for company to keep him on his toes. Out of the final corner, Nathan going to go on the attack again. His time takes the fastest lap at 140.4 as Matthew gets past Marky here. As now, as we were riding on board, here comes Ginge as well, going for it on the Alpine to the inside. Is he going to get past her? Still wheel to wheel through turn 2, and then Nathan loses the car and goes into Ginge, who's gone into him again. He's gone off onto the grass as the Haas has to get out of the way and abort there. But Ginge down in 16th place. One of our Wednesday admins not having the best of proceedings, nor is the other Super Striker, who's just coming out of the pits in 18th place. The battle for the lead, though, is still simmering at the moment. But when are we going to go to boiling point? We're only on lap 4 of 27 here. As we exit turn 11, these conditions definitely not the worst, and it could be close to going to the dries, but maybe the weather is actually starting to get slightly worse here at this point as we go through Spoon Curve. I was just checking, see if anyone has put a comment in. As we see Patrick Sutton saying, "Come on, Striker," as he's down in 18th place at the moment. Patience is going to be his best friend at this point, as Paul Jones looking in his rearview mirror at the RB of Tiny right on his gearbox as he moves to the right hand side, and Danny comes in. And what tyres is he going to go on to? Is he risking a set of softs, or is he going on to another set of inters, thinking that this is going to carry on till the end? It's a set of dry tyres, everyone, medium tyres for Danny. He's the guinea pig of the 19 that remain, and we'll see how he gets on in the next couple of laps. It's definitely got a feel of Canada at the weekend, doesn't it, in terms of these conditions? But is the weather going to improve? Is the track going to improve? As Matthew thought about it there at turn 1. Nathan is around in the gravel on the S section at turn 6 and is about to be overtaken by Dario, who's getting out of shape as well. Is it time for the dries now? Are the inters at a point where they're actually not getting a lot of grip because the track is draining the water away really well, and it's not sitting. The water isn't sitting on the surface at the moment. We now have two drivers on the mediums, Danny and Super Striker, both doing personal best first sectors as well, actually. So maybe the dry tyre is the right tyre. Paul Jones and Chuckle side by side through 130R there. And then the RB of Tiny getting involved as well, but he goes off onto the grass as we go through the Casio Triangle. Paul Jones trying to stick with it here. Goes a long way round, but then backs out of it for some reason. And lets Chuckle go through. As we go on to lap 6, we've got these 4 cars here in parallel at the moment. And Chuckle going off the track here. Tiny fighting with Rotten, the only driver on the PC platform this evening. Everyone else on the PlayStation 4 or 5. And Rotten still holding on to 7th, but still holding in there to try and get 6th place. As we see Chuckles William sliding all over the place. No one else decided to come in for dry tyres. It's still only Danny and Super Striker. As I say that, Itsu is out of the pits, and he is now on the hard tyre. So the top two just starting to break away a little bit here. Still half a second between the two of them. We haven't seen DRS enabled just yet, even though drivers are on the dry tyre. And RSI mark is 1.7 seconds adrift of the top two. Chuckle then a couple of seconds behind him, with Paul Jones right on his gearbox, and then Tiny and then Rotten all within around 2 seconds from Chuckle to Rotten, maybe even less than that actually. It's closer to a second. They're so close together, and Tiny almost pushing the Sauber out of the final corner there, as both the Williams and Sauber of Chuckle and Paul Jones come into the pits surely for the slick tyres. They think it's now time, but the medium tyres working well. No one decided to take the softs yet. Maybe the medium's just sort of the best of both worlds here as we come out of the pit lane. And there is your pit strategy info there. 23 seconds here for a pit stop, 50% chance of a safety car as well. It's higher track abrasiveness, and you get a discount of around 6 seconds with a VSC or a safety car. It's around a 17-second stop when the VSC or safety car is out. We'll come back to that later as well. So Josh McGill actually been able to stretch his legs here, or did Matthew make a mistake? I feel like the latter might be what actually happened here. And about 1/4 of the way through the race, it's definitely at a point of mixed conditions here. The weather staying the same. It hasn't got any lighter or heavier. The track's still draining the water away nicely, and that is somewhat of an indication, I think, of what we're going to expect for the rest of the race actually. It might just stay like this as Josh McGill decides it's time as well to come into the pits, and you could see him there on the right hand side trying to get that McLaren stopped, and was literally going sideways into the pit lane. Josh McGill goes on to another set of intermediates though, rather than going on a slick tyre. What is Chuck going to do? Just remember, I have just shown you, but we're looking at around a 23-second pit stop in terms of servicing the car as well, from line to line as he goes into the box. Intermediates on for Chuck as well. He's deciding that that might be the better choice, and I feel like the track is drier in certain parts and wetter in others, because the medium runners seem to be going quite fast in that first sector rather than the others. He's going to come out next to Itsu, is he, or just behind him, and Itsu is on the hard tyre. And we'll see which tyre is best here, but you've got to wait for them to get up to temperature. And Chuck goes off their cold tyres on that car. Ooh, slipping and sliding all over the road. Just as I take a drink, Chuck now up the inside of Itsu after making that mistake, and maybe the int is still slightly better, but I think the driver's on the dry tyres, on the mediums and hards, which everyone is on. Josh McGill getting past Cavalis there. Royal Rumble joining back to the session. Didn't realise he'd left in the first place, so apologies for that. We do have ghosting by the looks of things. Just haven't seen anyone actually ghosting really today. Tiny into the pits, intermediates for him as well, as we've got a yellow flag at the end of the first sector. So, while we ride on board, and I'll just turn the audio down because I think the onboard is slightly too loud for you not to hear me all that well. There we go, that's better. And the track conditions, I think, are just starting to maybe get worse, as I think the drivers on the slick tyres now starting to struggle as the heavens open just a little bit more of that door opening from the heavens, just slightly. It was ajar at first, and now there's a bit of a breeze coming through, as there is, should I say rain coming through, as the rain is definitely getting heavier on our screens, and the drivers on the slick tyres are going to feel it now, and they took the gamble, but I don't think they've got their winnings on this occasion. Matthew into the pits there, onto a set of intermediate tyres as well, as the Aston Martin Rotten takes the fastest lap. RSI Marquis leading the race now, and then Josh McGill with that 38.088, who now goes up into third place. Aki is going to be close here with Matthew, I think. Well, Matthew's certainly going to be close with the Aston Martin of Ginge. And slots out, comes out and slots in just behind him, as we now see Wizard and Cavalis come in for another set of intermediate tyres. Oh, Itsu struggling to get the car slowed down there as he went into the second Degner corner. And up into turn 11, those hard tyres are going to be ice cold, aren't they? As you can actually see the temperatures on his dash there. 88, is that 88? 84 on the front, so they're not going to be getting the temperature and subsequently the grip that he needs underneath him. As the top two come into the pits. And they're going to go on to a set of inters as well. Of course, at this point, they've taken the risk, but it's intermediates at the moment, and it could be all the way till the very end of the race. Izaki comes in as well, and Ginge. Ginge in for his first stop of the day. Filter out. It's going to be close to Cavalis here. Cavalis going to filter out between the two of them. Is he, or is he going to line up a move on his teammate Aki as he now looks to the inside? He's got the temperature in the tyres, and that means he has the grip in the tyres to get alongside him past into turn 3 and going up the hill into that S section. One of the best first sectors on the F1 calendar. As we usually see, the field has spread out somewhat. Pretty normal though. After safety cars, with the conditions the way they've been, we've still got drivers on dry tyres actually, so still thinking that they're working all right, but chuckle as well. But now we've got intermediates coming up on them thick and fast here out of Spoon Curve and up the hill towards 130R, where they'll gain time back on the brakes at the Casio Triangle. So you don't get a 10-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane. That is a new one for F1 24. It used to be 5 seconds, and they're definitely harsher than they used to be. It's double the penalty this time around, so maybe it'll keep drivers on their toes when they come into the pits in whatever conditions they find themselves in. Going through the left-hander, yellow flag again, and that is for the retired car of Danny. Oh no, it wasn't, sorry. I don't think it was actually. I think it was Mad Nathan who was around at turn 2. So I'll have a quick check up on who's on what tyre. You can see 4 drivers on dry tyres. Paul, Chuckle and Super Strike on the mediums, and then Itzy is on the hard tyre. As I said, they've got those drivers on the intermediates who clearly have more grip than them at this point in the race. Chuckle getting past there, and then Wizard getting past Paul Jones, and Chuckle getting out of shape, which would have lost him time, which means Wizard is right on the gearbox into turn 3 there, but now going to have to buy their time because we're pretty much single file lap in, lap out at this part of the circuit. So we've got a few drivers with time penalties. We'll have a look in a second as Chuckle goes off the road there. And then, what was that? That was another car. It was the other Williams who went wide there and has lost a couple of places for his trouble as well as Paul Jones overtakes Chuckle. Sorry, it was Chuckle that went wide and off the road, and he lost a couple of places, as I said, for his troubles. So we've got Super Striker on the full wet tyres, and we've got Mad Nathan who's out of the session here, and I believe he's retired in the pits as well. We're down to 17 of the 20 that started, and all 3 have retired of their own accord. Yellow flag still for the same reason. I wonder if Chuckle and Paul are going to hit to as well. If they're all going to stay on their slick tyres or just bite the bullet here and go in for a set of intermediate. Super Striker with a 3-second time penalty. I said we'd have a look at the penalties, so we'll do that now. All drivers at the moment got 3-second time penalties as Chuck and Wizard side by side through turns 1 and 2. Wizard on the outside there, Chuck on the inside, and he stays in 6th place. Matthew just starting to close the gap as RSI Markey is right on the gearbox of the RB, the older brother and younger brother, 3rd and 4th at the moment. Team RB versus Team Red Bull. As we go up to the S section as Royal Rumble is off the circuit here, going very slowly indeed. Just trying to get his tyres back to a reasonable temperature window. RSI Markey certainly thinking, looking, eyeing up a move for that 3rd place spot. Is he going to go for it into the Casio triangle? He looks to the right hand side, he lunges to that right hand side and he moves up. Was he behind before the detection point or not? I think he was. He'd have DRS as well just to help him along. It's double blow for Tiny, and now a triple blow as Lawson has got past as well as Tiny didn't have DRS. And a great move from RSI Markey just to lunge to the inside there and commit to the move, and he got up into 3rd place. We've got yellow flags again. That's Chuckle who's in the pit lane. We've got yellow flags. Not sure for who that was. The conditions haven't really changed. The track, as I said, looks all right, really. It's not had much water settle on the circuit. The Racing 9 doesn't look too bad, but I think just by a smidge, the intermediate is the better tyre to be on at the moment, as he gets himself a 3-second time penalty. We've got a yellow flag flying again. Not sure who that's for. Just over halfway through the race now. Is Rossum going to do the move that RSI Markey did last lap around? No, stays behind for now. Patience is a virtue for the Aston Martin driver. I said that DRS before, we haven't got DRS enabled, have we, the whole race? So got myself a little excited last lap, so no, neither of them would have had DRS before. Here goes Rossum though, battery deploying. There's a different system for the battery in F124. It deploys much faster, but it also charges much faster at the same time. And I feel drivers are preferring that system than previous iterations. Paul Jones with another set of intermediate tyres, and Cavalis probably doing the same. Remember, it's a 23-second pit stop here. 17 seconds if we were to have a VSC or safety car, but yet in season 16 have we seen a VSC or a safety car just yet. And Cavalis comes out in 15th with no one behind him for a very long way. Look at this, Matthew reining in Josh McGill at this point in the race. 3.2 seconds it was up at 10 seconds at one point. And Matthew finding his groove. Josh McGill into the pits. That's unexpected. I thought we might be able to go to the end, but perhaps not. And another set of intermediates to go to the end. And where is that going to pull him out? It's going to put him out between Tiny and Chuck. I don't think you'll have to worry about Chuck, even though he's just coming into the last chicane now. I think he'll come out with a good sort of 5-6 seconds to spare, I should think. And say that Chuck comes into the pits as well for another pit stop for another set of intermediates. So at this point in the race, guys, after Josh McGill has pit and is now on the hunt for Matthew, but is Matthew also going to pit and try and overcut now? Because that strategy has been decided for him if he were to pit. Who do we think is going to pit today? We've got a nice number of people on the channel. Let's get our predictions in. Who we think could be winning today. So 2.7 seconds between Matthew and Rossum. Now RSI Markey only half a second, as you can see. Behind had a new fastest lap there. That's set by Super Striker. A 1:37.111 for him. He'd be taking the fastest lap point at the moment. RSI Markey into the pit lane, and another set, a final set of intermediate tyres for him, unless we see any interventions from safety cars or VSCs or weather changes. But it stayed pretty stable throughout with these damp conditions. Josh McGill goes into third place now. How many laps has Matthew been on that intermediate tyre? 8 laps. And does he think, will he want to go to the end and try and hope that track position was the better option here? have a yellow flag again. That is in the middle sector at turn 11. I'm not too sure who that was. I think it was Royal Rumble. He's actually going slowly at the moment, and Josh McGill is gaining around a second to a second and a half a lap on the leaders at the moment. Has he got enough time, enough laps? I think he does, to catch back up. And Matthew doesn't pit this lap, which he does, and Rotten, so they're trying to do the overcut and have the tyre offset in their favour for the final stint. But Josh is rampant in that McLaren. It seems like it's on rails, always seems like it's on rails, as Josh McGill sets a fastest lap of 1:36.4 and goes back into the lead. As Matthew comes out, he's going to come out around 8 seconds behind, something like that, I would imagine. A bit less than I thought. Is Markey here going the long way round on Rotten, who's just come out of the pits and is back up into third place, and Matthew now the one on the charge. We've got a yellow flag in the third sector again, a 10-second time penalty for Royal Rumble for speeding in the pit lane. To go on board with Matthew here. Those fresh inters, he needs to use them to its advantage. It's not the best track conditions for the inters. It's arguably probably not wet enough to be in the perfect temperature window for them. He's got to use as much of the grip as he can and just put the hammer down and try and close that gap. He was doing it before, as we see Chuck here getting a great launch out of the second Degner on the inside at turn 10, which would have turned into the outside, but it wasn't needed in the end, as Paul Jones gets past Chuckle, who was going slowly and I think made a mistake at the hairpin at turn 11. As we go around Spoon Curve and up towards 130R, yellow flag again in the first sector. I believe that's Perm Bowden, who is going slowly here as his teammate laps him. And Matthew now, for some reason, has lost time. And Ginge into the pits. It's quite late on to have a pit stop here. Maybe it's a free pit stop. It was Wizard of Oz going off the road there at 130R. He's into the pits as well, which Ginge is going to come out as he ends his trundling down the pit lane to go full throttle back on to the circuit. It's Dario is in 12th at the moment, and Matthew's still around that 7-second mark behind Josh McGill. Let's see if he's got a response to the mistake he clearly made a lap or so ago, with Chuck now getting a 3-second, getting a 3-second time penalty. That's not his first today. He's now on 6 seconds worth of penalties. Itsu's on 6. And remember, we have got a few reserves racing tonight. Short Marcus, Cavalis, Itsu, Dario and Paul Jones. All those drivers are still in the race, and for RTG rules, they will be taken out at the order at the end. So, for example, if Short Marcus were to win today, and he was in first and Josh was in second, Josh would still win the race. I say about Short Marcus isn't actually here, even though I said he was going to be a reserve, so apologies for that. I don't think he is one of the reserves this evening. Must have been changed. I do them in advance, so if they do change, sometimes they won't be 100% correct, but I do try to get that done earlier rather than later. Just saves me a bit of hassle there. Lap 21 of 27. You're watching RTG TV's first round of the Wednesday tier here in Japan. If you want to join the league, the Discord's at the top of the YouTube channel, and with all our socials there apart from Twitch, which will be on in the next few days as well. So give us a follow on TikTok and Instagram, and obviously follow us on Twitch and subscribe to our YouTube channel that you're watching at the moment. It'd be really appreciative of your support. 400 subscribers is the target by the end of season 16, and we made a little bit of a dent in it last night, so let's keep going. Yeah, thanks very much for watching, everyone, with these final stages of the race coming up now. Wizard of Oz out of the session, Super Striker also out, both of them retiring in the pit lane. They've had enough for today. Chuck looked like he made a big mistake there in the final corner. So, lap 22 of 27 here, and Matthew made a slight dent in Josh McGill's lead. But Josh again always feels so at home leading the pack. So the conditions definitely been strange. Oh, Josh into the pits. Why? Matthew now takes the lead of the race. No idea why he's decided to do that. Absolutely no idea at all. But he's come in and he's going to come out in 4th or 5th place here, as we have Super Striker now leave the session. Commiserations to Super Striker, and Wizard, Nathan, Danny, and who all retired earlier on of their own accord, as Tiny goes off the road here. Almost seemed like that Josh in front of him used some kind of Jedi trick to push him off the road there ahead of him, because it seemed unnatural what he did. But wrestling with the car, and I don't know why Josh is pit so late on. I was going to say early, but that's not the right word. Late on in the race. Is it for fun? I mean, it could be, but we're in the first race of the season. It's not like he's got a championship under his belt. Matthew goes off, makes a mistake at Spoon Curve. He's down in 3rd place now, as he's now been overtaken by RSI Maki. Rotem leads the RTG Wednesday tier here in Japan. Matthew, though, coming back, and RSI Maki into 130R, inside line for him, and 2nd place for him at the exit of that very famous corner. Rotem leading his first race in RTG, on his first race of RTG. Got 4 laps to go, including this one with Matthew and RSI Maki trying to catch up to Rotem. After Matthews, Rotten bit of luck there. Had to do it. Had to do it. And of course, after a spin like that, but Josh McGill not too far behind either, catching up himself on the fresh Inter. I think the weather did get slightly worse. However, stayed the same ever since the rain got slightly heavier there. And Rossum has been gifted the race lead here after Josh pitting late on for whatever reason. And he's only 4 seconds adrift from the top 3 here, or 3rd place. Rossum goes into the Casio triangle to come to the start-finish line to start lap 25 and the 3rd to final lap. As Markey's made a mistake as well. He's off the road. Josh McGill back into the podium places. Head in hands moment for RSI Markey. A slam of the steering wheel with the palm of his hand, probably frustrating with only 2.5 laps to go. And Josh McGill is only 6.5 seconds off the lead after another pit stop. As Chuckle gets past Ginge into turn 1, but he, remember, has got 6 seconds of penalties. Driver ahead of him, Itzy, has got 3 seconds worth of time penalties. Has Matthew got the pace to catch up to first place, or has he even got the pace to keep Josh McGill behind with 2 laps to go? On the last lap, Josh took the fastest lap of 35.7. It was a 38.2 for Matthew. 43 in the middle sector. Matthew was a 43.6, so already 6 tenths faster in that middle sector as we come out of the final corner. And on to the penultimate lap of the first round of the Wednesday tier for a few seasons now. And just remember, Rotten, he started down in 9th place. And for driver of the day, I think regardless, this man's going to take my vote. So down to under 2 seconds now between Rotten and Matthew. Split evenly at the moment between the top 3, pretty much. But we only have just over 1 lap to go. And Rotten has got 5.8, 3.6 miles to go for his debut win in his debut race in RTG, and there's 1.3 seconds to separate him and Matthew. So we've got the other Ferrari of Royal Rumble going wide off the road as Rotten is starting to struggle out of turn 2. And safe to say now we've had 2 of the 3 races in week 1 not have a VSC or a safety car get involved in proceedings. Almost down to 1 second between Rotten and Matthew. He is pushing like crazy now on the final lap. A 36.7, a 36.5 for Matthew and a 36.7 for Rotten as they come out of the second Degner and up towards turn 11. It's now within 9 tenths of one another. Is Matthew thinking about an overtake at the Casio Triangle. That's his best opportunity now with the time that's between them, but he's going to have to get a great launch out of Spoon Curve up towards 130R to have any kind of a chance. But the top three at the moment separated by just over 2 seconds as we go up the hill towards 130R for the final time today. It looks like Rotten might have this in the bag with only a few corners to go and one more braking zone to go. Matthew isn't close enough, oh so close though, to Rotten, but as they come out of the final corner in his first race in RTG, it's also his first win. Rotten wins the Japanese Grand Prix, and Matthew then comes home in second. And why is Rotten moved down into third place at the end of the race? Did he have time penalties that I didn't see? No way. No, that is incorrect. I have no idea why that's happened. Rotten, I don't believe, we'll have a quick look, guys, at the race director. Rotten moved down to fourth now for some reason, but Rotten certainly has taken the win today. He's down in fifth now. Everyone that's going through. And a warning there, and that's it. Rotten certainly has taken the win. For whatever reason, it's dropping all the way down the order, but he will have finished in first place. And dropping down again, unfortunately. Oh, that was so irritating for the final classification. As we wait for Dario to finish his opening round of the season, and then we'll get on to the final order before we can talk about next week. So, this is your final order of proceedings. I'm not sure why Rotten was moved all the way down into 12th. Yeah, we'll try and do it as best we can. Rotten took the win. Matthew would be in second. Josh McGill third. Fourth, Tiny. Fifth, RSI Markey. Chuck finishes in sixth. Seventh would be Paul Jones. Chuckle eighth. Ninth, Ginge. Itsu 10th. 11th would be Aki. Dario 12th. 13th would be Cavalis. 14th. 12th would be Cavalis, 13th Perm Bowden, 14th Royal Rumble, 15th would be Wizard, 14th would be Royal Rumble, Wizard, Super Striker, Nathan, Danny and Lee did not finish this Japanese Grand Prix. So, that's your first round of the season, everyone. Hopefully you've enjoyed the stream, and hopefully you'll be back tomorrow for more racing action. I'm not on my own tomorrow for the first time in season 16. It's back with me and Lee for GP2 as usual, so it'd be nice to have him back for a stream, won't it? Yeah, so we're back tomorrow for GP2. That's in Austin, Texas for their first round of the season. Before the stream ends, I should have said this earlier on, happy birthday to my old man. His 65th birthday today, so happy birthday, Rich. And hopefully you had a good day. He does sometimes check in on the stream, so if he has done today, happy birthday. Anyway, we'll be back next week in the Wednesday tier, and we're going to be back for Abu Dhabi for their second round of the season. So if you're only tuning into the Wednesday tier, we'll see you next Wednesday for the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. If you're here for all 3 days of the week, make sure to come back tomorrow evening for the first round of the season in GP2 in Austin, Texas, and that calendar looks very good. We'll have a big deep dive into that calendar tomorrow night as well. Thanks very much for watching. You have been watching the first round of the Japanese Grand Prix on RTG TV for the Wednesday tier. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, like the video, do all those good things for us. If you want to join the Discord, it's PS only Mondays and Thursdays, and crossplay Wednesdays, all 8 o'clock UK time. There are seats still available in all 3 days, and we're always looking for some reserves, so make sure to get in the Discord link at the top of the YouTube channel. Anyway, thanks very much for watching. We'll see you tomorrow with me and Lee, and if we'll not see you then, we'll see you back next Wednesday for the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix in the Wednesday tier. Thanks very much for watching. Until tomorrow, we'll see you then.